Welcome everyone once again to Goosebuds. We're back.
We're back.
We are back. Gonna do something different this time. We've been doing some different stuff.
Oh wait, hold.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait.
What?
Wait, you said hi.
Yeah.
And I said hi.
Oh.
Where's Paul?
Oh, wait, he wasn't with you? I was sure he was with you.
I thought he was just here.
No, he was back at camp. The werebagool got him.
Oh my god, the werebagool?
The werebagool. Ancient legend says the werebagool is Latin for has a ton of work and is unable to make it tonight. But
no.
It's a hideous monster. You know what? I think we're gonna get Paul back though. I think we're gonna be able to get Paul back.
I hope so. You know what I was worried about? Was that he got ready to do this show with us just now, and then he got sucked into the internet, which is coincidentally the title of the newest Goosebumps book, The Haunted Internet.
I believe the newest Goosebumps book is the Tinder that wouldn't swipe.
The Tinder that wouldn't swipe. I thought it was the Gabagool. What was it? The Werebagool?
The Werebagool. The Werebagool is a hideous time beast, right? With one giant clock, but please do not consider it to be at all like a hip hop rap artist. No. Flava Flav. And it likes to just hang out in campgrounds and attack Italian boys that have a lot of obligations and things to do, and the Werebagool just goes, "Oh, I'm the Werebagool. You gotta get back to work." And then you have to be like, "Ah, you're right." And then you're hit with the overwhelming realization of what you have to do. This is not a good monster idea. I should have stopped a while ago.
Hold on. Is the Werebagool like a freelance manager?
I guess it's. Listen,
he's gonna come by and just see any Italians who got some work ahead of them and remind them that they. You know what? The Werebagool lives inside us all. Okay,
we gotta. It's a terrible beast to fight, and we lost Paul to him tonight. But
unnecessary stress brought on by ourselves. That's how the book ends. The Werebagool. I was the Werebagool the whole time.
The Werebagool ends with you at your office job, and you're 45, and you look over, and the Werebagool is just in the office chair across from you, just going,
He goes, Monday.
Am I right? Yeah, am I right? And then he says you sign up for the company softball team, and that's the end of the book.
Oh, yeah, dude. The Werebagool's going to slug it.
I feel like I should clarify that Paul's okay. He just had a ton of double shift work, but we wanted to keep doing that episode. Just in case you're wondering if that's some sort of vague way to say that Paul died, Paul is fine.
If Paul died, it will be a similar story about the Werebagool, but it will be about how the Werebagool murdered him.
This is how we cope.
This is how we just deal with it, man. Gotta laugh.
Guys, how's it going? I'm one of your co-hosts, Chad Quant.
I'm Dominic Moschiti, and we got something special here for you. It's a little different, right?
Yeah, you notice we've been doing some different stuff. We're kind of at that point, I think, is if the show was our relationship. Our show's relationship is kind of like an episode of Transformers, like the 7th season of Transformers. And you're like, okay, you know these Autobots and Decepticons, or the Dinobots and Predacons fighting each other. But you know what? Just every once in a while, you might just need to throw in a new type of Transformer. Maybe a Transmetal. Maybe one from an alien land that's actually kind of like an angel. Maybe like a prototype that's unformed and is kind of like a baby in the saddest episode of Beast Wars ever, and it gets killed. These kind of it's pretty sad. These kind of episodes are like that. We're just going to vary it up every once in a while.
Every once in a while, we got a book that we're going to read next episode. Very next episode, though, right?
But before that,
well, we're doing Ghost Next Door, right?
We're doing Ghost Next Door. Yes, we're doing Ghost Next Door. Pretty excited. But
pretty excited about that one for a number of reasons. There's a 2-part special, I think, of that on the TV show.
Ooh.
So if anybody wants to watch that, you can.
I would not think that is a story that you would make into 2 episodes. I'm pretty sure I'm going to guess the plot for Ghost Next Door is I just went over to my neighbor's house and tried to play baseball catch with them, and the ball went right through their hands because they're a ghost. What a surprise. Ghost Next Door.
What a surprise. Not gonna investigate that at all. Just gonna go to bed and end this book right now.
It's weird they made it 60 minutes of TV.
You guys have read a few of these books already. You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I gotta figure it out. That should be like Goosebumps 35 as R.L. Stein's like, you'll figure it out. I don't know. Beast from the East, it's a monster.
It's waving, I think.
It's in the leftmost direction. You got it figured out. You got it figured out. Speaking of TV, though, our special episode today is a wonderful gem that we found just hanging out watching Goosebumps. Yes, we hang out not on the show, still watching, talking about Goosebumps.
You're damn right. Because, Chad, Goosebumps is a TV show that's, for the most part, pretty fun for kids.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some episodes that are weird. There are some interesting choices made. And this is one of them. And Chad, we have an appreciation for this type of TV or film, right?
Yeah, these Canadian gems handpicked from very low budget of production.
Carved out of wood.
Carved out of Canadian wood. I don't know what the Canadian wood is. Probably maple. I'm just going to assume maple trees. Just hand delivered.
It's probably maple, and it smells nice, which is nice because it's still got that Goosebumps scent.
A fresh Goosebumps scent that is kind of a little bit of patchouli, a little bit of old leather, and a basketball. I think that is the smell of Goosebumps.
Oh, basketball?
Oh yeah, like a fresh leather basketball or an old leather basketball. It's the best.
Do you play with leather basketballs?
Wait, what are basketballs made out of? They're made out of leather. You're right.
Orange, dotted orange.
That's leather, right? Wait, hold on. What are basketballs made out of?
I think gym basketballs are made of old tigers.
That's why there's so many of them killed. That's
why they're orange and striped with black stripes.
Space Jam killed like 10,000 tigers with how many basketballs were made. Looking up, here you go. According to a basketball in parentheticals ball on Wikipedia, nearly all basketballs have an inflatable inner rubber bladder, generally wrapped in layers of fiber and then covered with a tacky surface made either from leather, traditional, rubber, or a synthetic composite. So old-timey basketball, which probably didn't bounce. It probably didn't bounce at all.
The way they play it back in Indiana.
Yeah, the good old If you didn't realize that the movie Hoosiers is just a bunch of white guys just passing the balls to each other, and no one can dribble because it just hits the ground. It just really just like
lead. It's just done.
It's just like a bunch of guys just kind of standing in a line down the basketball court, handing the ball like a fireman's carry to one another, and it's a real great sports movie.
It's a really good movie, but we didn't watch that this episode of Goosebuds. We watched a special. I want to say special because it holds a special place in my brain, and I will never forget it. It's called Strained Peas.
Strained Peas. Now, you listening, I know your car might have just crashed because you're like, oh, God, there's no way that's the title, and you just ran into the side of the wall.
You just decided to end it right there.
You could not handle that. But let me stress, yes, the title of the episode, Strained Peas, like something a baby would eat, but nothing that's really scary sounding whatsoever.
Yeah, if there's a Goosebumps book that's called Strained Peas, I can guarantee you it would have been the least selling one. I would guess.
It's featured, it's nested, hidden as a secret treasure in Tales to Give You Goosebumps, the first book, with several stories, all with varying levels of spookiness. I'm just going to read a few for you. You can tell me when you notice the shift from traditional Goosebumps title to ridiculousness.
Okay.
A vampire in the neighborhood.
Okay, Goosebumps.
The House of No Return.
Okay, Goosebumps.
Strangers in the Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that sounds a lot creepier. That's a lot more real than the other Goosebumps.
Kind of on the fence. Strained Peas are our titular episode.
Wouldn't guess that was Goosebumps.
How I Won My Bat.
How I Won My Bat.
A boy gains a magical baseball bat.
Wow. That sounds good. I think they made a movie of that called The Natural.
Or The Natural, or Mr. Is The Natural that terrible animated looking film where the kid has... No, sorry, not The Natural. Sorry.
You're thinking of Everyone's Hero.
Everyone's Hero. Somehow we end up talking about it every month. Why do we keep talking about Everyone's Hero?
I really just want to watch that movie.
Do you want to hang out? Everyone's Hero, if you're not aware of, is a animated feature film that came out in 2006. You were not aware of whatsoever, starring Brian Dennehy and Whoopi Goldberg.
And Billy Crystal.
Oh yeah, Billy Crystal is the baseball, I believe?
Yeah.
All right, so this is the idea of Everyone's Hero. We will talk about the book in a second, but hold on. Everyone's Hero. A boy comes to a turning point in his life when he faces a critical decision. Should he take a chance and possibly become a hero, or should he play it safe? Boy, oh boy, I love when my decisions are spelled out in such clear ways as hero or don't be a hero.
If you're a hero, it sounds like you're going to be everyone's hero, so why not?
Yeah, oh yeah. And though the odds are stacked against him, he begins a cross-country adventure to return Babe Ruth's baseball bat, which, by the way, is a talking Whoopi Goldberg woman, before the deciding game of the 1932 World Series. The baseball also talks. So just like sentient baseball items getting to Babe Ruth's game.
Wait, this movie takes place in 1932?
Yeah, you didn't realize that. It's not in the
I didn't realize that because I would imagine the child would be like a chimney sweep.
He would be a newsie.
Yeah, like a newsie or something. Some kind of labor thing that's illegal now.
No,
but anyway,
because
strained peas.
Strained peas. We'll go. Yeah, we'll cover Everyone's Hero another time. Strained peas is a ridiculous story that is our whole half hour turned into a TV show, which we've only covered. We're only covering the TV show because the book version. Come on, it's like 10 pages, I bet.
Because we watched the TV show.
We watched the TV show Discover This Gem.
And we will never forget it.
Oh my Lord, what a wonderful...
We're going to talk about the episode, obviously. Maybe watch the episode. We will spoil it. There are some things in it that are true what the hell moments. And it's a real special treat to watch that blindly and have that happen to you. But if you're okay with it, guys, we're going to get right into it.
Let's get right into it right now. Okay. So there's so many thoughts about this story, and we'll try to go a little chronologically. It starts immediately with the baby is coming home. I cannot believe they chose not to show the conception or delivery of the baby. Two crucial scenes that they really missed out on showing. But young little Nicholas is just hanging out at home, dreading the return of the newborn baby. And he has his best friend, Max, who is just worrying so much about the baby to the point that there's a lot of red flags. They're sitting over the empty crib. There's like balloons for the baby. And they're both like, oh man, when this baby shows up, your life's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
And if you pay attention, the best friend, Max, everything she tells this character could be interpreted as a scream for help about her own family life. So it sounds like she might be joking about how terrible babies are, but if you really listen to it, this isn't her joking. This is a girl going like, please pay attention to me. She's like, yeah, as soon as he had another kid, my parents haven't talked to me in weeks. Like, you really are it's really going to be the end of your life, man. This is really terrible. And then just ho-hum Max with her denim hat. She's just going to leave and go back to her empty home with her 10 family.
Her home of sadness.
Her home of sadness. And Nicholas, the main kid, says, oh, but you have like 7 siblings. Who can afford 7 kids in that economy of the 90s? That is
my family, Chad.
Did you have
This 7? Is where I take off my Scooby-Doo mask and reveal that I am one of 7 children. That's right.
What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm one of 7.
I mean, hats off to your family. Good Lord. That is
they're still living a family life. Yeah, I don't really know if I'll have one kid.
I know. I'm doing pretty good right now with Metal Gear Solid 5 and the sushi place down the street. I don't know if I need a kid. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, by the time my parents were my age, they had I think like 4 children.
Oh my god! Oh yeah. There's something about like the older generation, and that's not fair at all. There's definitely people who are still having kids, 16, 18, 20, but there's something about like my parents' generation. I think they're a little bit older than yours. That where you got married at 18 and you started having kids, and your kids were 20 by the time you were 40, and that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to go ahead and compare your life now to your parents' life, because, I mean, Metal Gear Solid is pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, all right. This time in my parents' life, I am 27, and my dad had been married for like 8 or 9 years. They had run a successful gas station franchise business across Illinois, and were now competitively racing horses. And I just go like, oh, well, I'm living in Los Angeles, and I mean, I got an iPad.
You do have an iPad.
I have an iPad. That's pretty cool, right?
You have Mario Maker.
Got Mario Maker. I'm making levels. Theoretically, it's just comparable.
But Max's language, just to go back to Max real quick, because I have to talk about this. Her language throughout the show is very bizarre. Mm-hmm. It starts out with this very foreboding conversation about the child coming home.
No, Max has red flags the entire episode. But this child comes home with her parents, who seem to... the parents' way they react to the kid, it's very strange. It's very much just like a dog that they have. Yeah,
all things considered, they already had Nicholas, who's kind of like almost a teenager at this point. So they've been to the baby world before. They're just bringing it on.
They're just the second one you don't care anymore. By the way, Nicholas, you need to watch the episode, looks like he's 45.
He looks like he's 45.
This is a weird... Imagine John Cusack, but not as a kid, as John Cusack now on a tiny man's body. And that is what this kid looks like. And he's just hanging out. Also, he wants to like be really close to this baby, and everyone's like, "Oh, careful! You gotta be all right. This baby's gonna cry." Keeps him up late at night. It's like pretty cliche, just like baby beats of like, "Oh, the baby comes home." Cut to later that night, he has a football helmet and tampons in his ears, pillows.
It looks like tampons, but I think it's implied cotton.
It's supposed to be cotton, I guess. It's just a bag of cotton they have.
But before that, the baby comes home. Mm-hmm. It's being brought upstairs. Nick is looking at it, and it shrieks at him a horrible shriek.
There's like a
right
velociraptor
next to
shriek.
His mother's ear, and his mother does not hear it. She just keeps on walking. But the baby shrieks something awful, and Nick is like, "Oh shit, what?"
There's a lot of times where like something crazy happens, and the character doesn't react to it.
No. And we'll get to those parts.
We'll get to those points.
So the baby is crying all the time. They established that. Mm-hmm. The baby's crying all the time. Max is over. They're in the baby's room. And Max says, and Nicholas is complaining about the crying. Mm-hmm. And Max says, this is what Max says to Nick about the crying baby. "You gotta call the shots. If you don't, she'll keep playing this pretty princess game forever." What does that mean?
Oh, there's another phrase, I think, sandwiched right next to that, where she says, "You really need to stop trying to like the baby. You're always going to be older than her." Also don't know what that means.
Yeah, what does that mean? That happens right before this line, by the way.
Yeah.
And what is she talking about? The baby came home yesterday.
I think we're going to find out that there's another scene that was cut where Max goes home, and you just see it's like an abandoned building, and everyone in it is dead. And she just like, "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad." And then she goes and sits on like the burned down couch and just eats soup out of a can and acts like everything's normal.
No, she disappears because she's the ghost.
Oh, she's the ghost of this one. Yeah, that's probably also true. She is very anti-baby. There's a lot of negative feelings towards families, towards babies. I get that this whole episode is supposed to be like a metaphor for like the fear of a new child, but like Nicholas, who's had one bad night with the baby, who also got up like instead of the parents to nurse the baby. It was really weird, right? Like the baby's crying and he gets up to change the baby's diaper instead of the parents, which is really strange.
And the baby barfs some kind of pink puke on him.
Yeah, it barfs like high C all over him.
And no one's alarmed.
No one's alarmed by it's like the baby's weight in vomit. That would be something you'd probably take to the hospital. But the next day he goes, yeah, my parents are trying to, buy off my love for the baby. They bought me a CD player. Whoa, parents. One night you got barfed on, you get a free CD player. A baby can barf on me tonight, and I will be okay with it if I get a free CD player.
And Max encourages him to continue that trend, and she says, if you can pull it all the way to Christmas, it's going to pay off huge. Max, your priorities are all screwed up.
I can't tell if Max is the most, real person ever in Goosebumps or just the most depressingly capitalist. I don't know.
I would say the most drunk. She's
a drunk 12-year-old girl.
Hard anti-baby this entire episode, but pro hat.
Okay, while we're talking about, pro giant denim hat. While we're talking about Max.
She's got some great outfits in this.
While we're talking about Max, this might not be interesting to anyone but me, but there's a detail in the script that I don't understand. And now when you're writing a story, brevity is the soul of wit, right? You want to hit the beats that matter, or the dialogue needs to be really funny, or do something. It needs to either establish something about the character, or play off something that's already happened, or lay down the groundwork for a story that's going to happen. A story plot's going to happen later. But there's a whole moment where Max is stopping by and she's about to leave, and she goes to get her skateboard and put her skateboard and her helmet on, and then Nicholas's dad goes, "Whoa there, Max, you gotta be careful on those skateboards. They're pretty dangerous." She's like, "I know, thanks," and then leaves. That feels like a setup for a whole other story, right? Where the skateboard should have killed someone.
Yeah, the haunted skateboard. That's another book.
Right? Theoretically, the baby should have slipped on the skateboard later, and that would have defeated it. Because that felt like it was a weird... There's a whole skeleton somewhere for a skeleton plot, for a skateboard plot that I don't know about.
Yeah, I think the more we talk about this episode, the more it will become clear that this script is an interesting one.
I will say, the next pretty much major thing that happens is the baby plays all of its cards.
So the next beat of this story is that Nicholas wakes up in the middle of the night. He's hearing something. He goes downstairs to investigate, and the fridge has been raided, and there is food all over the ground, and there's milk spilt. It's a mess. He's like, what the hell is this? And then he hears the TV in the next room, so he's like, oh my God. And he goes into the living room, or perhaps the den.
Yeah, it's the den for sure. It's a man's
den.
lounge.
It was pretty denny in there. And there is Grace, the baby, with a remote, and she's watching Formula One racing in the middle of the night.
Formula One racing, and then just flips the channel to just footage of cars crashing.
Yeah, footage of cars crashing.
The director is we need to show what is an evil thing a baby could watch. God, we can't show HBO's Real Sex. We can't show a violent action movie we don't have the rights to. What about just cars, just people dying in cars?
Yeah, okay, people dying in cars. Let's show that.
Let's just show that.
Cuts to some people dying in cars. No one crashes. It's just cars coming at each other.
Yeah.
But then Nicholas starts yelling at the baby, and they start fighting for the remote, and there's a tug of war. Which is a strong baby. I can't tell if just he was being polite or the baby just has the strength of a 12-year-old boy. Yeah, this 2-day-old baby is just really giving Nick a hard time.
It's really giving a runaround.
Cut to a close-up of the baby's face.
An extreme close-up.
The baby says, "You're finished, big brother." With the worst mouth.
You ever see those old Clutch Cargo cartoons? If you've not, go look up Clutch Cargo. Clutch Cargo was where the cheapest cartoon ever made, where they just drew still images and then they superimposed real life human actors' mouths over them. It's the most disturbing thing you'll ever see.
That sounds horrible.
And that is essentially the effect they did on this baby's mouth.
If you've ever seen Conan interview some celebrities on
yes,
television,
it's that exact same thing.
It was very similar.
It's that same idea of Clutch Cargo.
You're finished, big brother.
You're finished, big brother.
And that moment, I would say we freaked out. We freaked out. It's a scary moment because it lives in the uncanny valley.
It's very uncanny. Also, just the baby's voice is not like a monster voice. It's just like a woman who would work at a receptionist place. It's just a normal person's voice. And then let's go of the remote, sending the boy flying backwards into the TV. Doesn't break it, but just in time for the parents to come downstairs. Parents always just like 5 seconds too late on discovering anything that's wrong with this baby. And going, Nick, what have you done? You've destroyed the kitchen and you're watching car crash TV. It's 3 a.m. This is ridiculous. And now Nicholas gets in trouble. And, Nicholas like, oh, the baby did it. And they're like, son, you're crazy. That's not the baby.
Son, this is Goosebumps. I don't give a damn what you have to say.
So now this is my biggest question with the story. Because now this will happen multiple times. Grace will do something that will make Nicholas look bad. Go down to the kitchen, destroy some stuff, get into some makeup, whatever, what have you. And then continually the parents come in and discover Nicholas. Was that Grace's plan? Was Grace's plan to go downstairs, eat a bunch of food, just hang out and watch TV, just so that Nicholas will come down and discover her and then get in trouble? Or is she just like a wild monster baby? But this is the baby's MO, is just to create more and more convoluted things that Nicholas will look bad for doing. So, but they just don't work if Nicholas didn't do anything, right? Like if, let's say Nicholas didn't go downstairs. He's just going to sleep like a little child because he's a little 12-year-old boy. In the morning, theoretically, the parents come downstairs. Oh, what a new day. And the baby's just down there watching TV, eating all the food. Like, baby, what are you doing? You're a super intelligent monster baby. And the baby like, you got me. And that would be the end of the ruse. But theoretically,
I would imagine the baby would have enough sense to go back upstairs if it went downstairs to plant this trap for Nick.
It's just not a great trap, and Nicholas falls for all of them.
Right for it. He falls right for it, and then he goes and confronts Grace next day.
That's right.
He's like, "Oh, what do you want to talk now, baby? Why aren't you talking? Why don't you talk to me?" And then the baby finally says something. I can't remember because I've tried to erase that from my brain. It's so creepy.
I believe it's either you're finished, big brother, or like you're dead. Like it's just something.
Yeah, or I think maybe it says only me again or something.
Right.
But then Nicholas reveals a hidden tape recorder. He caught it on tape, and then he holds it in front of the baby's face and says, "I'm going to show mom and dad and reveal who you really are."
Which is great.
Is always not a good idea.
No, actually, I got to give him credit. I thought it was nice that he was actually doing a smart thing because they never do this.
It was pretty smart. It was a pretty smart thing to do.
I think it's also great that he didn't have a kid's tape recorder like a Walkman or whatever that thing from Home Alone was that everyone wanted. The
Talk Boy.
The Talk Boy. God, I wanted a Talk Boy so bad.
So bad.
Every kid had that, and I wanted it so bad. To think about it now, it's so silly. I wanted an analog tape recorder. That's all I wanted. But he has like an adult business tape recorder, as if he has a bunch of meetings that day, which is also great.
As if he's working for NPR in the 90s.
He's got to record some interviews for Prairie Home Companion.
That is the show Nick would work on, by the way.
He looks like it, too. He looks like a young healer.
He looks like a young farm child. So he shows the tape recorder, tells the baby that he got evidence. The baby then throws a glowworm that it's holding.
That's right.
At Nick, and it lightly bounces off of him. I don't get what that was about. It lightly bounces off.
That's just the equivalent of like a fuck you from the baby, but it didn't do anything. If it had like been glass and it shattered, it'd be like, oh, it's trying to kill him.
Yeah, it would be like some kind of scary thing.
At no point does Grace try to kill the kid. Like, you would think evil baby, and, like, the way it's, like, seems to be... There's never a, like, Nicholas is sleeping, and then Grace is standing over his bed with a knife. Like, it's never a murderous baby. It's just a trick baby.
The baby's means are very political.
Very political. Very strategic and political.
Her motives are to have... Nicholas impeached by the parents. Right?
Yeah, it's like a long game of attrition.
It's a long con. Let's be honest here. But she throws a glowworm. It does nothing. We're confused as to why that happened. Then the wind blows. The curtains blow a little bit.
Right.
The door closes. The room gets dark. The baby's eyes glow.
Silver cat eyes.
With silver cat eyes. And then they cut to a commercial.
Right. Oh, by the way, I don't even know if it was a wind. I got the impression that Grace has psychic powers.
Yeah, well, it would appear that way. She could control wind.
She controlled wind, and the door's shut. You're like, Nicholas is going to die. Commercial break. Nothing happened. Nicholas is just like downstairs having breakfast. Like nothing happened at all.
Cut back to Nicholas talking to his dad about the tape he recorded in the last scene. Nicholas is in grave danger. They cut away, they cut back, and he's fine. He made it out. We don't get to see how that scene was resolved. We just know that he's okay now. But I just don't get the thought process. If you can control the light and wind, wouldn't you do that first before you threw a glowworm at him?
I mean, or just like blow up his blood vessels or something.
Or something. Scanner his ass.
Just explode it. So, I don't know what Grace's... I guess I know what Grace's plan was, but it's a very non-scary version of what could have been terrifying. I mean, it's freaky that she talks and seems to have superhuman strength at points. I just don't get her game. I don't understand how this is going to pay off for her.
Well, it somehow works out, though, because in the next scene, he explains that he has a tape with her voice recorded on it. He plays it back. We hear Nick talking to the baby, and then warped tape with weird warped tape voices.
This baby has every monster power ever.
And the parents are kind of pissed off about it. They're like, "What the fuck? You just showed us this shitty tape with nothing on it, you dick ass kid."
This tape sucks. This remix of yours is terrible, Nicholas.
And then he's like, "Her eyes glowed," and then the mom is standing there with the glowworm and says, "It was probably the glowworm."
Which, if that is your child's views, that the glowworm, I actually had one of those. That was like a popular toy. Those like light up glow, like bookworms.
Yeah.
If it's one of those and you think it's the baby's eyes, your child has vision problems that probably needs to go to a doctor or something.
Well, the father recommends that they go to a doctor, and and Nick says, "I don't need a head doctor."
Yeah, it gets super heavy real quick. Like, that's Grace's play, is to have Nick committed to an insane asylum. Like, that's really heavy in a book. I know it's obviously where things are going, but as soon as the parents have a conversation of like, "We're a little worried about you, maybe we need to get you some help," that's not just like when you go to the doctor to see if you're right. This is like, we might need to strap you down, you're hallucinating.
Yeah, well, this is a lot like Terror at 50,000 feet.
Yeah, it is.
But a lot less threatening.
And boy, oh boy, would I love this episode if it had also been played by William Shatner. Oh my God.
Well, if he made an appearance as the father.
I meant as Nicholas or the baby.
As
but
the baby.
also that.
If it was the baby, it would have been a great episode.
So here's the part where the parents have been pretty common sense, even though they're just not, listening to anything, which is understandable. They now go, "Okay, Nicholas, we're worried about your mental health. We're a little bit worried about it. Maybe we need to send you to go off with the grandparents or something," which is also just code for "We'll never see you ever again. You're gone.
You're gone. You're
like,
going away."
When you send them off to live with the grandparents, and then you just don't hear from the parents ever again. Like, that's just how that works, right?
Yeah.
So the next thing is, a phone call. Nicholas already called the doctor to stress his worry about the baby, which is a logical thing to do. This kid is taking action because he's a 45-year-old man, so this kid is getting things done. Calls the doctor. The doctor's like, "Oh, hey, parents, I would like you to come in for the evening, though, for an evening meeting in my evening hours," which is already weird. And the parents just go like, "Yeah, we'll come in for it, even though we know it's not right. Well, we can't say no to a phone call appointment." So the parents are going for an evening appointment to talk to the doctor about their baby being fine, and then say, "Well, we should go get a babysitter." "Nah, Nicholas can watch the kid." And Nicholas goes, "I don't want to do this." He goes, "Yeah, Nicholas, even though we just said you might be mentally insane, we're going to have you watch our baby."
We're going to have you watch our baby, which the phone call was about a mix-up at the hospital where they took home the wrong baby.
Right, which was revealed after this next night.
No, it's not revealed. That's what the phone call is about.
Wait, really?
That's what the phone call is about, and they leave the baby at home, which doesn't make sense.
Wait, they say it was a mix-up at the hospital?
If you have the wrong baby, you got to bring it back to the hospital, right?
I thought the doctor just said, "Come on in," and then after they talked, they realized, like, "Oh, we went in to talk to him," and then he was like, "Oh my God," because we don't want to spoil how this ends yet. But I thought they went to the doctor, and then after that conversation, they realized there was a baby mix-up. Either way, it's pretty ridiculous.
The phone call that Nick makes is about him saying that they took home the wrong baby.
Okay, either way, that's crazy.
It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy
so
thing.
It's just a setup to leave Nicholas alone at night again with Grace, as if there's a danger. But Grace is not doing anything to threaten Nicholas. Like, Grace just destroys things and watches TV. Like, theoretically, Nicholas could just get out of the house and be fine.
There was that one time that Nicholas stuck his finger in the baby's mouth and got bit.
Yeah, but it was like the tiniest wound.
It was barely a wound, and Nicholas really stuck his finger out there.
Yeah, his kind of finger was kind of asking for it. I wasn't even mad at the baby for that one.
So they leave Nick at home with a baby.
Terrible choice. Terrible choice.
Crazy Nick, old crazy Nick. He's playing with his rat or his gerbil.
His gerbil, which is a weird. It feels like the gerbil, which is the reason we haven't mentioned it, because it doesn't matter at all to the story. It feels like the gerbil is some sort of metaphor. There's a whole, like, I have a pet gerbil that's doing a maze. I'm teaching him to solve a maze, and I'm doing some sort of experiment about if different music I play helps him solve the maze. Maybe there's a metaphor about, like, nurturing and, like, how you raise something. I really don't know why it's there. Not sure. So he has the baby, puts a giant wall of baby cages, locking him in the room, and then goes, "Hey, baby, got a baby monitor listening for you, so you watch it." And it just goes to hang out.
Yeah, he goes to hang out with his friend Max, who's back with a new hat. Actually, I think it's the same hat from the previous scene.
It might have just been worn with a different type of sass. They hang out, start to hear commotion for it, and Max looks, but before Max can investigate, Max realizes her new CD that she lent Nicholas has been eaten by, she thinks, the gerbil, which does not make any sense, because the gerbil's in a cage. And goes, "I'm leaving. You destroyed my CD, and you're going to blame it on the baby? Get out of here." This baby just eats random things, too.
Yeah, he ate a math book before that,
Eats a math book, eats a CD, eats all the food in the fridge. So it's just like an animal, like a Muppets animal situation we have going on. She leaves, and now it's supposed to feel like it's a scary night, right? You're supposed to be like, I'm alone, trapped with the baby. But really, nothing bad's happening. Like, the baby just, like, breaks through the baby carriage, like a Looney Tunes. Like, this is a giant open broken hole, which blew my mind.
Yeah, that baby launched itself through that wall of baby. What are those even called?
It's like baby gate. It's like a dog gate.
Yeah, baby gate.
A baby dog gate. Yeah, baby gate sounds like a big conspiratory that was caught about a president having a baby.
We'll talk about that another time.
Another time. The rest of the episode is just Nicholas chasing Grace through the house, and there's like these really great shots of where they clearly just held the baby above the camera, like someone hands were just holding her and just letting her legs just swing as she looks like she walked along the ground. It's my favorite thing.
That's I also really like when Nick is under the bed looking for Grace, and then Grace is on top of the bed, which he didn't see her there, and he somehow knows that she's up there and starts, like, interacting with her.
Right.
And she eats his rat. It is a rat, by the way. It is not a gerbil.
You're right. It is a rat.
And they call it a gerbil. They call it a rat. They don't know what it is in the script. But she eats it, and he somehow knows that she eats it without seeing it. And then she burps it back up. It the mouse, or rat, whatever it is, who's supposed to be his pet, crawls up on his shirt, and he flicks it off. And it goes off running somewhere.
Yeah, it's a weird moment
shot,
where
by the way.
the
Same
baby,
shot of the mouse.
Oh, they reversed it. Yeah, this like wet, gross mouse comes up, and it's like he's supposed to be like, scared of it. Like, it's clearly supposed to be like a horror shot of like, ew, gross, vomit rat. But he just looks at it like nonplussed, like, oh yeah, it's my rat.
Yeah, it's just like a simple little rat being like, hey man, I'm scared. I was just swallowed by some kind of demon baby.
Get out of here, rat. We'll talk about this later.
Get out of here. I hate you, rat. And then the parents come home.
The parents come home to find that Grace has blockaded herself in the family, has blockaded herself in the bedroom. Again, Nicholas can't get to her even, and she's like eating makeup or something. I don't know.
Well, that's kind of the gross scene that unfolds. That's unspoken. He has barricaded the door. Like, if you came into the scene, you would find Nick having the door been barricaded and then a baby with lipstick on.
Yeah.
Nick, what is going on in
God,
here?
you're right.
It's terrifying. But the parents come home, and
they seem neutral because you're supposed to think they're upset.
Yeah.
But in fact, they're actually not, because when we switch from commercial break, it cuts to them just going, well, there was a mix-up at the doctor's. We're getting the right baby this time. And they're all just like, oh, man. Like, there's no emotion to this idea at all.
No big deal. NBD. It's only been a couple days with this one.
Yeah, it just seems really weird to me that, I know this is like a silly kid show, but the fact that there's no attachment from the mother, like, this was my child. I thought this was mine. I've been nursing it and like grown attached to it, and now I'm just giving it away, and my real baby wasn't with me. Oh my God. There should be like levels of distress.
I've been letting my son take care of this baby for most part.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I miss it. I'm going to miss it.
But it's really just with the casualness of, should we go to Carl's Jr. for dinner? I don't know. Let's go get some Carl's Jr.
All right, let's go to Carl's Jr.
Let's go to Carl's Jr. This podcast is not sponsored by Carl's Jr., but that's the level of concern they have.
A chauffeur comes to the door.
God.
An old white crazy car. I'll call it a crazy car.
It's like a hearse limousine kind of thing, like an old Rolls Royce limousine.
Yeah, and it comes up to the door, and a big Italian man, I'll say. I'm gonna guess that he's Italian.
Yeah, they just got someone who wasn't super white and just was big, and it was like, you're our crazy monster guy.
Yeah, you're our crazy monster chauffeur. He takes Grace. He just takes her away in one arm.
If I may, he approaches the door and first just says, "Baby."
Oh yeah, what? He does. He just demands it by its noun.
Give me baby now. Like, it's just kind of, and they go, well, this man is obviously respectable. We'll give him the baby over. He carries the baby like a sack of potatoes in the funniest shot of the whole episode. Like
a football.
Like a football, like in a headlock, and you just see the baby's like, not a real baby, like obviously like a fake baby's legs just like swinging below him like a doll. And now our humans have their real daughter, because they're the real little sister. Again, not a lot of emotion to being reunited with their real family member. It's just like,
the real baby that they haven't been able to hold this entire time. It's been with other people. Yeah,
they're like, oh, cool. I don't know, what should we call this one? Why wouldn't you call it Grace? They're like, we should name it something else. Like, why not? Do you want it? This is what it's supposed to be named. You don't have to like. There's no rule that says you have to give a baby a new name because you only name. Anyway, it's stupid. It's a stupid idea. Cut to inside the limousine, you see the parents of the monster baby were actual monsters.
Actual monster fingers are seen.
Yeah, it's like a Wile E. Coyote like gargoyle, and husband and wife are just coochie cooing the baby, who looks not excited to be there. That baby is legitimately terrified on the set.
Legitimately terrified by monster hands.
Monster hands coming at it, not enjoying the shot whatsoever. Just going like, oh, you're our little baby or whatever. So I guess a monster family just uses the hospital like other people. And the doctor was like, oh, that's fine. This is the world where monsters just check in at I guess. I don't know.
Also, monsters have sex and have monster babies. Like, two different types of monsters can have sex.
Yeah,
like a gargoyle woman and a skeleton man can fuck, and a baby, a regular human baby, will come out.
I think what they should have had is a line from the human mother being like, I did think it weird that Grace, when they handed her to us, was in an egg.
Yeah,
it was weird that she came out of an egg first.
And she ate the shell when she broke out of it.
I should have said something.
But
you know what? My baby book just said, like, just accept all of life's challenges, so I didn't think anything of it.
Also, your baby might eat its egg. I don't know what that means, but I just read over that part. I sped read it.
Yeah, whatever. I thought it was about nursing. We're all good. This episode is nanners.
Ends on a freeze frame. It ends on a twist.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's not the real twist. Dom, please.
I think he is talking to the baby. Nick is holding the baby, and he's like, all right, my real sister. Hey, goo goo gaga. And then the baby goes, oh, don't give me none of that stuff. Get me some food and none of that mushy stuff. And Nick faints. Nick faints into a freeze frame.
With an oh brother type of expression of like, I can't believe this is happening again. So what does that mean? Does that mean one of two things? That this is just a random absurd thing, and they got another mix-up. Like there's another monster family somewhere going like, where's our child? Or that is his human sister. And monster families, even though they are monsters and judged harshly upon, have amazing baby development lessons.
Yeah.
Like when his real sister was with the monster family for like 2 days, they were doing baby genius times 10. Like they just know how to teach high complex concepts, and now they just have a baby who knows how to talk.
They were showing it Baby Einstein. They showed it Baby Geniuses 1 and 2.
You know what they were showing him? Baby Frankenstein.
Baby Frankenstein, is that a thing?
No, I'm just saying that would be the monster Baby Einstein books.
Yes, Baby Frankenstein. I like it.
Hold on, let me go and see if that's a thing. I'm going to do a bunch of novelty books to sell at Urban Outfitters. Baby Frankenstein. Think we're okay.
All right, Chad. After this episode, let's go ahead and copyright some stuff.
We are going to race to these books. And we'll also probably have to watch them Baby Einstein to see what they actually are, but we'll be fine.
So this baby talks too, right?
Yeah.
So you know what I think it might be? Mm-hmm. Nick's dad's got one of those monsters of cock.
That's what it is.
It must be.
That's why
he
he's
must have a monster penis like on the website.
That's why he's so calm and chill, because he knows he's just swinging low.
He's swinging low, sweet chariot, and he doesn't have time for his son's schizophrenia.
Can I say real quick that a bit of trivia for this episode, speaking of the dad and his monster dong, is that both of the parents are a real life couple at the time, at least.
Really?
And they are the real life parents of the boy who plays Nicholas. So that was a real family acting out that episode.
Well, I have that makes this even more bizarre,
right?
But the fact that they don't really have any chemistry, I guess, is really maybe no surprise.
No, but that's kind of weird that like they didn't feel like a family at all, and that is the first like full TV family I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, like what the hell? Like watching that episode, I felt like the father gave Nick some looks that were like, "You're not my real kid." But he really is his real kid.
It's really his real kid. Oh my god!
Now that's a twist that's bigger than the twist in the episode.
It really is. That should have been the end of the episode. Is the baby talks to the little boy and he goes, "Oh, brother." Also, the actors in the show, we're all real family. Isn't that pretty crazy?
If they just said that at the end, I would have been okay with it. Like if that dripped onto the screen as like it freeze framed on him fainting.
Oh,
like
totally.
I would have gone crazy.
Oh my god, this is a crazy episode. I think even if you listen to this and you haven't watched it yet, all of the shots are nuts. There's a lot of just like visuals that are pretty crazy.
Yeah, like the art in Nick's room.
I don't remember. I don't recall.
There's like some weird punk guy on the wall, I guess to show that like he has this crazy taste in music.
Oh yeah, there's one moment where they play loud rock music and that's it.
Well, like that's kind of like this other part of this experiment that Max is doing. It's some weird subplot. But
that's true.
There is a piece of art on the wall that looks like it may have been done by Nicholas that features maybe a family, maybe just kids, very poorly drawn, sad, and bleeding from bullet holes.
What?
Yeah,
wait, I remember
shot.
I remember when we watched that. Like, what was that about?
I don't know. Like, whose choice was that to have, like, bullet-ridden cartoon kids bleeding on Nick's wall?
That's right. We saw that when we watched it. I forgot how much I freaked out about that.
There's a lot of weird production things, too. Like, Nick says, "This is great. My parents think I'm crazy," when the screen is black and to no one. It's like a transition between scenes, and he says that. It's an ADR line. I don't know. I don't know why that's there.
I'm looking at the paintings right now. I pulled up the episode on Netflix. I'm seeing the murdered children who are all crying, and there's a letter, a name that says like Zoe or Joe underneath it, implying that's like a name of a kid that's going to die. He also has a giant painting in his room of a yellow man who looks to be kind of a combination between Prince and Liberace.
With a cig in his mouth,
Cig in his mouth. Like, no. What is this? What is this kid?
It's so bizarre. Like, this, I feel like we talk about how this story is crazy. The entire episode visually is strange. You should definitely watch it.
Okay, all right, I'm looking at it right now. There's definitely a photo on his bedroom wall. Like he has a pin board. Go watch this episode, listeners. Tell me if you can find it. There's a shot at, it'll be around 3:45, and it appears to be a photograph of two people in the Sahara Desert, like fist pumping as they're riding dinosaurs or tigers. I do not understand what this is a photo of. It is very scary, and I don't like it.
I was worried that it was going to be a framed photo of his dad's monster.
Where I came from. Also, why is if he has a monster cock? I like this idea. Why is Nicholas not the same? Or unless maybe Nicholas had a very oh my God, Nicholas also developed at a very early age, which is why he looks like he's 45.
Oh my God, that's totally true. He was speaking when he was a baby.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
And then he got into cigarettes. And that's why the man is smoking on his wall. And he was in Desert Storm.
he was in the shit.
Which explains the bullet-ridden kids.
He was in the shit. This is by far my favorite episode of the TV show. Just because, also, it's so crazy. Like, I don't even know where you go with this anymore. I don't know if Gray should have been trying to kill him or what. It just, oh my God, I loved it. I loved watching this with you, by the way, too. This was a great experience.
It was a great experience because it is such a strange episode. I guess there isn't too much left to say about Old Strained Peas. Yes, there is one more thing. Why is it called Strained Peas?
Okay, all right. I think this is an artistic title, all right? I think the peas in the pod are the family, and they are strained under the burden of a new child / a monster baby.
Okay.
That's really stretching. I don't know this title at all. I don't get it.
My explanation is pretty stretched as well, and that would be Strained Peace. which is Nick's peaceful life being strained by his baby sister.
I think you know what it was. I think the title was supposed to be Strained Peas, and they just messed up a typo in the story, and no one ever caught it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, strained peas, like that thing that babies eat. Do babies eat strained peas even?
Eat strained peas?" And we cut to R.L. Stein. He's like, "I don't have any.
I don't know. I'm barren."
You know what it is? You know what? I think it was supposed to be strained penis because Nick's dad has been fucking once every 12 years with that monster.
It takes that long to build up the blood flow to your groins.
Dad,
yeah,
we are on the same page now.
It takes that long, and the problem is it takes 12 years. So like whenever it happens, you gotta do it.
You have
you could be at a baseball game and go, we gotta go right now.
It's gotta happen.
It's gotta happen unless you want to wait another 12 years for this monster dick. And she's like, I guess I got to. Everyone look away. Everyone please look away. And then
everyone look at the baseball.
Everyone look at the baseball, please.
Don't look at us.
In the back seats, please turn and look towards the concession stand, please. This will only take like 45 minutes. 45 minutes tops. Thank you very much.
I'll see if I can wrap this up in 30. I can't make a promise. Okay, let's go. But okay, so it's strained peas. We're still not sure. It's up in the air. Why don't you tell us what your explanation of the title is? You can tweet it to us at GoosebudsPod.
And we see you guys tweeting about the show. It means a lot. I see you guys every day at Johnny Ketchum, at This Is Luke Owen, at Foxy the Kid, at Nigel Harden, at Hosting Cholo,
and at Jim Carrey. Thank you.
Jim Carrey, thank you so much. You can also go on our subreddit, which is reddit.r/goosebuds. You can also email us. No one ever emails us, but if you want to, we're on Gmail at goosebuds@gmail.com. Or if you want to get in a really weird way to get back to us, you can also leave a review on the show.
That's right. It really helps out the show to leave a review. And we love reading them because you guys are pretty funny with them.
They're pretty good.
They're not always funny. Sometimes they're just nice. I have a review here from Mike Lettuce Ketchup Pod, which may be a podcast. Who knows?
It's about burgers, I guess, maybe?
I hope it is.
Mike, we're going to check it out.
It's titled Everything I Wish My Show Was. Okay. Well, maybe it is. This podcast is great. Hop in your way back when machine and join these guys as they wax poetic about the greatest series of books ever. Ever, in all caps.
Wow, period. Mike. Thank you very much. I will check out your podcast. I hope it's about burgers.
I hope it's about burgers.
Oh, my God. I hope it's just the sound of you just eating burgers and not talking at all. I hope just like smacking mouth sounds.
Ooh, yes.
The entire time.
That would make for... What are those videos called where it's like soft sounds? I guess it would be the opposite.
Like ASMR, but it's just delicious in and out smacking burger sounds.
People dunking burgers into their mouths on their lips. Psh.
I kind of digging that. We're having a lot of money making ideas this podcast.
Yeah, you guys take notes if you want to
take notes / steal our ideas fast, because Young Frankenstein's coming out pretty quick to make your monster baby.
Yeah, Young Frankenstein, our completely original screenplay starring Gene Wilder.
Oh God, not Young Frankenstein, Baby Frankenstein. Fuck, we're sued. God damn it, we're sued. I have another review from I Hate These Effing Review page. I wonder if that's his username for many sites. And he says, great podcast, 5 stars. I just spent the last 15 minutes trying to write a review for these guys on this crappy app, but it was worth it because this is a quality podcast that deserves a larger audience. The podcast is hosted by a likable group of funny guys, and their conversations are always enjoyable, even if you're not a fan of the book series. Highly recommended, unlike this horrible, crappy review page. And there's a sister review, I would say, I like from I Could Not Care Less, who also gives 5 stars. It says, honestly, I am only writing this in hopes that it helps the podcast so that they will mention me on the show.
I know you could not care less, but we do.
We do. It really means a lot. Again, if you go on iTunes, make an account or use your normal one, leave a review, helps the show, and it's the reason why we've been discovered by so many wonderful listeners like yourselves.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead. It says, was this review helpful? Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That helped me.
Guys, thank you again for listening. We'll be back very shortly. Much smaller of a wait between this episode and the last one. We'll be covering The Ghost Next Door. So crack open the book.
And if you want another show to listen to in the meantime,
oh my God, yes! Oh my God, yes! I forgot.
I'm plugging this show because Chad, you're on it, and you're gonna be back on it.
Oh my God, yes! I am so looking forward to it. Tales from the Tavern. You're gonna love it if you're not already listening to it. It is great. I have been on it. Paul has been on it. Friends.
Jim Carrey has been on it.
Jim Carrey has been on it. Weirdly down for a lot of projects, Jim Carrey.
Yeah, and for leaving reviews. He's a great guy.
He's a really good dude. Dom, tell us a little bit about the show for those who don't know.
Tales from the Tavern is a show where every week we are in a tavern of the guest's realm. So Chad will be the guest on the next episode. Chad, what is the name of your realm again?
It is Ragnarok. It is a wonderful fantasy world.
We will be in Ragnarok. It will be the wonderful fantasy world of Ragnarok. We may be back at the Devil's Bunghole.
Yeah, I was thinking about taking you to another tavern this time. I don't know if you want to see.
You take me wherever you want to take me in your world.
All right, we might do a bit of a pub crawl.
Hey, man. I'm into it. Every week on the show, we have writing prompts, and then off of those prompts, we write a short fantasy story. Usually pretty funny. That's what we're going for. And we read it to each other, and we laugh, and it's a great time. So stop by the tavern. You can check us out at Tales from the Tavern. Just go ahead and search that, or look for it on iTunes or TFTT Pod on Twitter.
It's a great show. Would not be saying that if Dom wasn't here. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to listen to. Even when I'm not on. Even when I'm not on the show.
Even when he's not on it, he listens to it, you guys. That's a good friend.
It's a pretty good recommendation. With that, guys, go check out Tales from the Tavern. We'll see you guys soon. Dom, it's been a pleasure. I love you. I'll talk to all of you guys soon.
Talk to you soon, friends. Bye-bye.
Bye.